John Shannon was just talking about the process the Oilers went through, and how it was important that they did their due diligence and that they spoke to guys. I'm just wondering, from your point of view as a guy who was with the organization, how hard was it to be patient through all this?
Actually, it was quite easy to be patient. There was an opportunity for me to step away and spend some time, in a neutral environment, which gave me, the opportunity to first of all decide where I needed to go with my career, and I really felt the passion to get back into head coaching, and was not sure where the opportunity would arise. And when Edmonton made the decision to not renew Tom Rennie's contract, who is a good friend and who had been a good partner through the 2 years, I saw a door opening, and when the call came, I was excited, I was ready, and the time was actually good for me, to tell you the truth. To step into it this way was fair, and the process was strong.
Ralph, how does a person know when they're ready to be a head coach in the NHL?
I believe the most important thing when you're coaching in the National Hockey League is to feel confident about all the different components you need to deal with this level, whether it's the off ice work on the media or dealing with the complexities of the professional athletes of today and enjoying those challenges. And the hockey technical skill is one thing, but I believe it's being able to create an atmosphere where the players can perform to the best of their ability, where this unbelievable skill set can present itself within a team structure. That takes some time to develop as a coach before you're comfortable with those challenges, and I truly feel that, and am excited about the opportunity.
How are you a different coach now than when you came from Switzerland?
Well, you need to understand the pace of the National Hockey League, for one. I did many World Tournaments, 12, and the Olympics, 3, where within a 17-day period we would have the pace of what the National Hockey League has for 82 games. So it's understanding the pace, understanding the balance that's necessary to perform, the information flow. How much can the players handle with that schedule and that travel pace to perform properly, and so you don't block them or handcuff them on the way. All those things needed to be, I needed to understand, and the 2 years have given me the time to see what's important to the players, to the team, and how we're going to bring this forward in a successful way.
A couple of times this season for the Oilers, you ended up becoming the head coach. Tom Rennie's father passed away, and
Correct.
then he ended up being concussed on another occasion. Did that whet your appetite?
It didn't really. I mean, I have so much head coaching experience, and I actually felt for Tom and his problems.
Yeah.
So I did definitely get to taste the opportunity to head coach. It whetted my appetite to be a head coach again, and once again, not necessarily here. And it was an opportunity to go through the process. And when we finally won a couple of games at the end of that stint was important for also my comfort zone going forward. So yes, it was you could call it an appetite whetting opportunity, but more than anything, it was an experience that's helped me prepare for this. Yes.
As a guy who was doing the intermissions of those games, my one observation was that you tended to play the kids a lot more than Tom would just rotate lines. Is that fair?
I really feel that the kids were the leaders as far as their work ethic was concerned, and I'm not a coach that really puts a lot of value on what age you are. It's how hard you work and how passionate you are about what you do, and that's the beauty of the kids here. They really are passionate players who bring an amazing work ethic to the day, and that's what I was rewarding, and that's what I will reward going forward as a head coach is not necessarily seniority or any type of given opportunity. You have to earn it on a daily basis, and so the kids did fall into more ice time, and it worked, and we won some games. So this is something I hope to see going forward.
with Ralph Krueger, the new head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. Ralph, you talk about the kids, guys like Taylor Hall and Everly and guys like that. I mean, you well know, I don't think anybody needs to tell you, this team has been young and promising for a while. It's going to be young and promising again for a couple of years, but I mean, I think fans want to see it be young and promising and in the playoffs at some point soon as well. What can you bring as a coach that will help those young guys cash in on some of that potential and take this team to the playoffs?
Well, a lot of things needed to happen the last 2 years that have already been done, and now I believe with the maturing group that we have, there's an opportunity to add some solid team defense to the whole structure, meaning not to handcuff the players as far as the way they play or to limit their instincts or offense, but to really understand the game without the puck a little better as a group and to be more consistent. Also, to learn to close out games. We had many games last year that were tied, or we were leading going into the third period where we ended up with 0 points, and to get those 10 extra wins we need to make the playoffs, it's dealing with the management of the score and finishing games as a group. Those are a couple of components that I think we'll be working on early in the season.
Okay, you've been coach for 6 hours now. Is Nail Yakupov going to be on that roster?
Nail Yakupov has. I actually watched him live for the first time here in our development camp right after my press conference, and that's an amazing skill set there. I'll tell you, it doesn't take a genius to see that he is a dynamic player. He drives extremely aggressiveness to the net, and even in this practice we had today, he was trying to score on every opportunity. So he will press hard, but nothing will be guaranteed for him. Just like Nugent Hopkins last year earned his spot in training camp, Nail will have to go through that process too.
And Ralph, with your international experience, one might suggest that it would be important to have another Russian on this roster so Yakupov could have a confidant, someone he could trust. Is that a logical assumption?
I've actually experienced a lot of Russian players in the past. I've actually played with them too, and the new player from Russia is much more open-minded, and there's more similarities there to Canadians than you might believe. There's a certain healthy swagger that they bring with them, and I don't think for Nail it's going to be that important who he's playing with. He wants to have players playing with him that match his skill set, that will share the puck with him, because he is not just a goal scorer, he's a great playmaker, but we have those players, we have those people, and I don't think he's going to matter so much. And you can tell in his interviews that he's been westernized quite well here in the last few years, and will certainly continue to do so.
Ralph, how much of what you do as a coach was influenced by your experience playing internationally and more importantly, coaching internationally?
Well, coaching, it's really developed over, I was educating myself, and it's kind of a cute anecdote because I was educating myself to make sure I had a job after I played, and I didn't expect to be a coach, so I spent a lot of time in the hotel business as a player in the off seasons, and even got into that business for a while before I became a coach. So there was a lot of growth in going into the real business world, and the beauty of the national teams is that you change your roster on pretty well every camp that we have, and we had multiple camps in Europe. So it was like doing permanent experiments on the group dynamics, teams, practices, systems of play, and then you would always narrow things down as you hit the big world tournaments or Olympics, but it was like I was in a laboratory for 13 years, to tell you the truth, and so that experience, I wouldn't consider myself a European coach. I'd consider myself an international experienced or educated coach, but more than anything, I was able to study the game and spend a lot of time watching other systems and methods of training, and all of these have come together now, and I hope to bring them into the Oilers and create the winning culture that everybody here dreams of.
I spent a lot of time in the early 80s in Calgary, Ralph, watching the Wranglers play. It was after you left, but I did get to know Doug Sauter. Who in my mind is one of the great characters of hockey. Period. No matter what country, no matter what
mustache in hockey,
and at that point had one of the greatest dogs too. Had a big Great Dane that walked around. The Great Dane used to walk around the corral all the time.
Yeah.
What would a guy like Doug Sauter think of you getting this job today? Because he's a lifer, you're a lifer, and it's an amazing story.
He'll be touched. He's the color commentary actually for Oak City, our minor league team, and I ran into him once last year when I got to jump down and watch the team. So he will be more than pleased that this has happened, because truly there's different ways into head coaching jobs in the National Hockey League. I've taken the long, hard, patient route of just trying to improve every day, find ways to make my players and teams better, and myself as a coach, and that it's paid off is a nice story, and everybody who's been a part of that on the way. And Doug was my coach in junior with the Wranglers. Will be very excited, along with a lot of the hockey people I've grown with as I've gone through all my different stops.
Ralph, listen, we appreciate you joining us today. Best of luck in your role as head coach of the Oilers, and I guess the hotel business is lost as the Edmonton Oilers game.
Thanks so much for the call, and I wish all the hockey fans on your network that on Primetime Sports have a good summer, and hopefully they enjoy the new version of the Edmonton Oilers coming up next season.
Take care, Ralph.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.